All set? I'd like to open the Peabody Planning Board meeting for agenda for October 15th, 2020, held at 7 p.m. on a virtual platform, Zoom. Pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, general section 30A. This meeting is held on a virtual platform, Zoom, and you may contact by, if you have the agenda, either by phone or an ID from Zoom. This meeting is also being televised by PBD Access Television. Gentlemen, the first order of business will be, and ladies, I'm sorry, the first order of business will be approval of the minutes of the meeting of held on Zoom of October 1st.
Mr. Chairman, unfortunately I was unable to get them done prior to this meeting, but I will have them available for the next meeting. So I'll have these and the previous meeting at the next meeting.
Mr. Chairman, I would defer the approval of the minutes of the October 1st meeting until our next scheduled meeting.
Have a second on that?
Second.
Dr. Otto, all those in favor, please raise your hand.
For the record,
Unanimous.
everybody has raised their hand.
A&Rs and land court?
None.
None. Site building permit plan reviews?
None.
Appointments, attorney John Kelty, he submitted a letter to us. Somebody wanted to enter that into the record?
Mr. Chairman, I would move to receive a letter from Attorney Kelty dated October 13th in regards to an extension of time for subdivision Stonegate until November 12th, 2020. Move to receive and
Dr. Otto, second.
Second.
All those in favor?
For the record, everybody has raised their hand. Diane, was that raising your hand as well? All right, perfect.
Proposed Stonegate subdivision, action continued. Assorted regional correspondence. I got this interesting reading package from Eastern Land Survey, 26 pages worth. Does anybody have any comments on any of these?
You received something from Eastern Land Survey?
Yeah, 26 pages.
I think it's, yes, dated May 1st.
Yep.
Huh, okay. I didn't. Maybe I received it previously.
Well, I saw it in the file online, Drew, so.
Okay. Does anybody have any comments on these 0 Winona Street or 149? They're both approvals, so I guess they've already been approved. And then I can comment on the request for parents. That was the city council's request for the chair of the planning board and different boards throughout the city to come speak at the meeting in regards to public hearings. We do public hearings pretty rarely, so I guess we didn't really need to go to it, but the planning board, the city council could be reaching out again for comment.
Any comments on any of the additions added to the package? We have notices from Town of Danvers, Zoning Board of Appeals. No comments on that. Public notice of Town of Danvers of the Planning Board for 490 Maple Street, 492 Maple, and 500 Maple. And we have public hearing notice for City of Salem. And a public hearing notice for the town of Middleton. No comments on any of those? Any other matters properly before the board?
Mr. Chair, we received a email from the Zoning Board of Appeals. They're taking up the comprehensive permit that has been filed for King Street. They're taking it up at their next meeting on November 9th. We could, if anybody's prepared to make comments now for the planning board, we could discuss it now, or we could discuss it at our next meeting, and I could present this planning board's thoughts to this zoning board of appeals, and or write a letter to them to be added in, or if we would wish to discuss it at the next meeting so people can be prepared.
Do we have a copy of the application and the plans, Drew?
I believe I sent it over in a meeting packet a few months ago when we first received it,
Okay,
but if not, I will make them available to everybody again.
thanks.
Any other matters, Drew?
No, it's in your, I will resend it. I did send it back August 6th, the meeting packet, but I will re-forward it to everybody.
Thank you very much.
Mhm.
My
That is
file
it.
management problem should not be your problem, Drew, but I'm afraid it is.
Okay.
Roy?
Yeah, thank you. I just had a question that, are we gonna have discussion on the Stonegate amongst the board to, for the final, review of the drawings that we got submitted, maybe 2 weeks ago? Or is that something that we plan on doing the discussion on the night that we take a vote on the project?
So Roy, I can tell you, the city met, and actually John Ford was at that meeting with members of the Stonegate Design Committee. And we met the city and again, the members, and we discussed the project. And in speaking to, or we left the meeting with the representatives from Stonegate deciding that they were going to come back with either revised plans further or make an appointment with the board to discuss what their next steps are. So, I mean, John might have some today as well, but I think we're kind of in I would hold off on discussion at the moment until we hear back from the representatives from Stonegate.
Mr. Ford?
If I may, just share some of my takeaways from that meeting. Mr. Paulitz has a lot of issues with the stormwater system, a lot of issues. We're 2 years into this. You think that some of them, or most of them, should be resolved by now. Additionally, something that was brought up was the formation of a home ownership association or like a condo association for homeowners in the future to maintain the storm water system, which to me doesn't seem like a very sound idea. Those were the two big takeaways from that meeting for myself. So I'm just sharing it with you folks.
Any other comments?
So I guess just to end it, so Roy, I would say we should wait off to hear on what Stonegate is doing. Those plans that were sent to you potentially are changing again. So I would hold off on a formal discussion until we hear back from the representatives from Stonegate.
Okay, thank you. Well, I would think that the members of the board, all of us here, should get some sort of a, like a memo of the minutes of those meetings so that we can see what's going on too.
Drew, is it possible there's a recording of that meeting?
There was none, no.
Most of Mr. Paulitz's stormwater was location of basins, drainage of basins, lack of spillways, slopes, steep slopes. I guess in one instance, a basin is going to be adjacent to a home to be built. In another instance, a basin is elevated against an existing home, which is on the property below. That's my take on it.
Yeah.
And,
I can also say that a majority of the items that were pointed out by Will from the Department of Public Services were in his original memo that he had forwarded to the representatives from Stonegate. So a lot of the things you were mentioning was really nothing new as much as it was just items that they still needed to be addressed.
What about the peer review? It appeared that most of those issues that the peer review found, then they went back and they made changes, then they reviewed them again. Are these things that the peer review caught that Will is commenting on, or are these things that the peer review didn't catch that Will is commenting on?
So no, so there's still, the peer review also caught issues with the drainage and stormwater as well. But we had the meeting to set up to discuss the peer review. The representatives from Stonegate had mentioned that they had yet to discuss the peer review and that they were seeking instead to discuss the peer review with the peer reviewer engineer and then get back to us. And then instead of just ending the meeting right there, we had a discussion at that meeting regarding the comments that Will had made in that memo that still had yet to be addressed. And
Okay.
like John said, these were comments regarding stormwater. They were comments regarding retaining walls on the property. They were comments regarding where houses will be placed on the property. So a lot of the items that were discussed were really just things that have been kind of in front of them for, since Will's really first memo that he sent out.
Okay, thank you.
I don't think they'll be stepping into the batter's box next week. I think they still got some work to do.
The homeowner association issue is a giant one for a group of homeowners to take on all the upkeep of all those basins and whatnot.
And I wouldn't be in favor of that. I don't think it's a good idea. It's not a sound idea at all.
Yeah, I would agree with you, John.
Any other matters for the board? If not, I'll accept the motion.
Mr. Chairman, move to adjourn.
Second.
Second,
Otto, all those in favor?
aye.
Aye.
For the record, everybody has raised their hand.
Thank you all. Have a pleasant evening and everybody stay safe.
Thank
Right.
you.
Good night.
Bye.
All right.